Do you know Marilyn's Happy Birthday, Mr. President dress was the most expensive piece of clothing ever sold? Let's explore 7 more interesting moments that shaped her story. 1. Monroe was the maiden name of Marilyn Monroe's mother. Marilyn Monroe, whose real name was Jean Baker, chose Monroe as her surname because it was her mother's maiden name. In her ghost-written autobiography, Monroe said she was told that she was somehow related to President James Monroe, but no evidence has ever been found to support that. Marilyn came from a studio executive who thought she resembled Marilyn Miller, an actress who died at the age of 37. Monroe was 36 when she passed away. Second, her first marriage was arranged. As a child, Norma Jeane Baker was in and out of foster homes, state care, and the guardianship of various family friends. She never knew her father, and her mother had been committed to a psychiatric facility. A 15-year-old Baker had been staying with family friend Grace Goddard, but they decided to move to West Virginia and couldn't take Baker. Unless she married, the teenager would have been turned back over to an orphanage. So they turned to 20-year-old James Dougherty next door and suggested a marriage. "I thought she was awful young," he later said. "But we talked, and we got on pretty good." They were married just 18 days after she turned 16. 3. Marilyn Monroe was first choice to play Holly Golightly in Breakfast at Tiffany's. Truman Capote had Monroe in mind for the lead role in Breakfast at Tiffany's, and she even performed 2 scenes for him. "She was terrifically good," Capote later said. In the end, she didn't take the part because her advisor and acting coach didn't think it was the type of character she should be playing. Either way, Capote wasn't at all thrilled with the studio's choice of Audrey Hepburn, saying, "Paramount double-crossed me in every way and cast Audrey." 4. Marilyn Monroe's wardrobe is worth a fortune. At $1,267,500, the sheer spangled dress Monroe wore to sing Happy Birthday to JFK in 1962 set the world record for the most expensive piece of clothing ever sold. A collectible company purchased it. The famous 7-year itch dress set a record, too, selling for $4.6 million in 2011. Casual attire goes for less, but still fetches more than your average pair of Levi's. Tommy Hilfiger bought her jeans from Otto Preminger's River of No Return for $37,000 and gave them to Britney Spears as a gift. 5. The FBI had a file on Marilyn Monroe. The FBI's file on Monroe was probably opened due to her relationship with Arthur Miller and his un-American activities, coupled with a request she made to visit the Soviet Union in 1955. She never actually made the trip. You can check the file in description down below. 6. Being buried near Marilyn Monroe is a big deal. After her death, Monroe was buried at Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery in Los Angeles. DiMaggio originally owned the crypt above hers, but sold it when they divorced. The buyer was Richard Poncher, a fan who requested that he be flipped over when he was buried so he could lay face down on top of Monroe for eternity. Nearing death in 1986, Poncher told his wife, "If you don't put me upside down over Marilyn, I'll haunt you the rest of your life." Shortly before he was interred, his wife instructed the funeral director to place him upside down in his casket, which he did. Recently, Mrs. Poncher has decided to sell the crypt and move her husband to another site. The crypt is going to be listed on eBay. It brought in a whopping $4.6 million, but the buyer later backed out. 7. In her will, she left a large part of her estate to charity. After she died, she left part of her estate to her psychiatrist, Dr. Mariana Chris. Monroe requested that the money went towards helping psychiatric institutions. In the 1980s, Chris passed her part of the estate to the Anna Freud Center in Hampstead, England. The center helps children with mental health issues,